So I'm back to pick up my daughter from work. So I got time to live stream for a second. That's the only reason why I've been live streaming a lot lately. This may be one of the live streams that I delete. I don't know. I gotta think about it. So, of course, now I'm starting to see. For some reason, I don't know why I'm just now starting to see this, but for some reason, I'm starting to see a lot of women become vocal about Minister Jack. Like I hadn't been complaining about Minister Jack for 4 fucking years. Like seriously. like it's like nobody heard me complaining about this dude for 4 years. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of women talk about him and a lot of women, you know, asking about me and sending me information and all types of shit, right? Now, I've been trying to stay away from YouTube streets because to me, it's the street. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the drama associated with the street. Because for me, I'm trying to do something a little better with my channel, a little positive, and in order for me to do that, I gotta stay out these streets. I can't be, you know, dealing with these people. So I try to stay out of it. I try not to have a response for every single video that's made about me. Because honestly, it's like draining my energy to sit here and have a response to everybody who's making content. I'll make a response video to someone who's worth me responding to. But as far as these people inside these YouTube streets and the content that they making, I can't because it's not relative enough for me. Like it has to be coming from somebody who is actually pulling numbers. And I don't mean pulling numbers where they can get a couple of views on some videos that they sat down and did a live stream on for 8 hours. I mean, if you sitting down doing an 8 hour live stream, of course you're gonna have the 1,000 views on a video. But if you could upload a video, right, and get like 5,000 views on that upload, and that upload is only like 20 minutes, you get respect from me. You know what I mean? Because I've done that. I pulled that off. So anybody who has an opinion about me, in order for them to get a response out of me, they have had to done better than me on YouTube. You understand what I'm saying? Like they have had to get more numbers than me, get more subscribers than me. So you have to understand, I have 11 million views on YouTube. And we're talking about the lifetime that I've been on YouTube. I have 11 million views. So just because I upload a video, like say for instance, if I upload a video today and I only get 300 views, that's because of me and my issues with being inconsistent with my content. So that's just now. Once I continue to do what I'm supposed to do with my channel, I'll go back to the way that it was. Anybody who has a decent channel will tell you that it's work. You got to put in the work. You can't just upload stuff and then think just people going to watch you. You have to put in the work. You have to build something. And with YouTube videos, it's building momentum. So if you have good, accurate content, people are going to be watching you. So if somebody makes some content about me and it's only getting not even 100 views, or it's 1,000 views after somebody that sat down and talked about me for 8 hours, to me that's not a person that I need to continuously keep responding to. I noticed that in the past when people would do videos about me, the only time they would get some hits on it is if I put emphasis on the video and encourage my audience to watch the video by me responding to them making a video about me. And so a lot of people came up on YouTube simply off of making videos about me. Okay? And Minister Jap is one of those people. He's one of those people that had he not had interaction with me, he wouldn't be popular on YouTube because no one was paying him any attention. And I noticed nobody was paying attention to him 3 years ago when I reached out to him and asked him to do a collaboration. And after our collaboration, he kind of used it as, an opportunity to create some unnecessary drama between the two of us, and it built him an audience. And so now he has an audience, right? And so to me, I always wanted dude to have an audience. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect him to have an audience on my expense, meaning him posting negative content about me and taking a piece of my audience and making it his was going to be, how he ended up being popular. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to see him succeed. I didn't really, think that it would go in this direction. I saw a man who I thought had a good personality, who was funny, and he was attractive. So that's kind of what you need in order to have a decent YouTube channel. As long as you look good, got a decent personality, and you could be funny, you can make it on YouTube. So it kind of surprised me that he wasn't making it on YouTube when I saw him. Because I was just confused. Like, I couldn't understand how he could have all this personality, but he didn't have any views. So that's what made me be like, let me put him on. Let me do a video with him and then direct people to his channel. And so that's what I did. Um, any of the videos, the one collaboration that we did, when I posted it onto YouTube, I had to pay for it to be promoted. Anybody that does YouTube videos, that you could pay YouTube to promote the video. So I had to pay YouTube because I wanted it to go viral. So I had to pay YouTube to promote it. And I also had to pay Facebook to promote it because it was uploaded on Facebook as well. So I put money in both of the videos so they could both go viral on Facebook and YouTube. And that's how it went and got so popular so quickly, just by me promoting it how I was supposed to. And then a lot of people had not seen that type of interaction between two people. And we was talking about the 90-day rule. So I was not expecting for things to go sour to the degree that they did after that. Because when I realized that he was kind of disrespectful towards women and he had like this hatred towards single mothers, it kind of shocked me. Because for me, I just was, like, in my mind, not a single mom because my daughter had her father and we always took care of her together. So in my mind, I never classified myself a single mom. I was taking care of a child with my child's father. So I never looked at myself in that way. And so when he was talking to me, he never made me feel some type of way about being a single mother. Having the conversation about single motherhood is not something that me and Jap discussed at all when we were talking about collabing with each other, or we was talking about hanging out with each other or dating each other or anything like that. He never showed that he had any type of issue towards single mothers at all. Okay, so when I finally saw it, I saw it on his Facebook page. I went, because see, we weren't friends at first on Facebook. We was just talking, and then we did the collaboration, and the collaboration was up on Facebook and YouTube, and then we decided to be Facebook friends. So once we became Facebook friends, and I seen what he was putting on his timeline, that's when things started switching for me, because I was like, I can't support a man who is going to be disrespectful towards women, especially single mothers. Like, it's okay for you to have what you feel as far as single mothers go, but for you to be disrespectful towards women, that's not something I could rock with. I can't support your career like that. Like, if had I known you was that guy, I would have never collaborated with you to begin with. And so when I came to him on some woman to man shit, like on some woman to man shit in a way where I knew he was like feeling me. And we was kind of digging on each other. And I said to him, listen, I don't know how I'm going to be able to continue to work with you saying these things about single mothers. Like, why are you saying shit like that? What's up with that? and he said something disrespectful to me, and then he posted on Facebook that I said something to him about it, and he disrespected me there. So this is when things changed. Like, I just realized that he was reckless and he didn't respect the fact that I had went out my way to collab with him. He didn't respect that I wanted something positive to happen with his career and with his channel. He didn't respect me. And that was a problem. I didn't even know how to deal with him after that, because it was like, damn, he didn't even appreciate that I went out my way to reach out to him, to collab with him, to help him with his channel because he was struggling with it. He didn't even appreciate it. So this made me look at him very different. It made him look at him very different. And so from then on, it was like he was calling and calling and calling me on the phone. And I wouldn't answer the phone because I didn't know how to deal with him. I didn't even know what to say, because when I would speak to him, he would just be so belligerent. It was like he was calling me out my name and shit. And it was just like, I can't believe that somebody that I just reached out to help is speaking to me in this way. Somebody that I didn't even disrespect, somebody that I just did a favor to, is talking to me like I ain't shit, right? Like I'm one of these little chicks on the side of the street. And I knew I deserved better than that from him. I knew it. And I wasn't about to sit there and tolerate it from him. So I just stopped answering the phone. And so he was calling and calling and calling and calling and leaving voicemail messages and asking me why I wasn't answering the phone. And he was like really upset. And I don't mean just upset as far as angry goes. He was upset like I hurt his feelings. Like, why aren't you answering the phone? Because he would like call, he'll be like at the club or something or at a bar, and he'll have chicks sitting directly in front of him, but he'd be on the phone with me. And so when I stopped answering the phone, he was not happy about that shit at all. It was like he was upset. And so I just stopped answering the phone. And then for some reason, I kept thinking to myself, like, how am I gonna either get him to understand that what he's doing is wrong, or how am I going to continue to work with him anyway, even though he's disrespecting women and single mothers? And I just felt so bad. Like, I was like, I can't do that. I'm a woman. I have kids. I'm a mother. I can't do that. How do I convince him that he can still have his opinion, but he doesn't have to disrespect women as well? This is what I was thinking. And so I needed time to think about that. And he just was calling and calling and calling and calling. And because I wasn't answering the phone, that shit wasn't doing nothing but making it matter and matter and matter and matter. And then suddenly he started making videos about it, because finally I said, listen, to my audience, I said, I'm not going to be doing any more collaborations with Jap, because people wanted to see me with him. They wanted us to do another one. Like, after the first collaboration, I got so many emails and so many comments of people telling me that they wanted me and Jap to do another collaboration. And the plan was always to do more. We had planned like 4 or 5 after that. But after the first one, and after he was so disrespectful, I just didn't know how to deal with him. So I needed to think about it. So I said, listen, I said to my audience, because he already basically cussed me out, called me a bitch, all this shit. I said, listen, me and Jap not going to collaborate anymore. I don't want to collaborate with him because of he has a level of disrespect for single mothers. I said this. I was honest with my audience. I told them what was going on. And so after that, that's when the videos and the bullshit started with Jap, and it's been going on for 4 years. Okay, it's been just a constant, like, and to no avail. You have to understand, it's been like every day it's been something with him for 4 years, right? So I would see him talking shit about me in people's chats. People would send me like screenshots of him talking about me. I really was at first like hurt, because I had put so much energy into him. I had put so much money into making sure our videos went viral. And it was so genuine why I reached out to him. And my intentions were so positive with him that it hurt my feelings to see him behave how he did towards me. Like, how could somebody be so unappreciative like that? It just hurt my feelings. So at first, like the first couple of months after it happened, I was just like hurt, right? And every time I saw him, it would just, like it just would bother me. Like people would talk about him, and then he would go places, go to other content creators and talk about me, and it just was like, it was too much. And then with time, right, it started to be go from me being hurt about it to me being angry at him. Just me being just angry at him, like to the point where it was just getting on my nerves. Like everything that he was doing, it was just consistently just bothering me, harassing me, calling me, emailing me, sending me donations and shit, making videos about me, all types of shit. I just was like, this dude. And I tried to make response videos because I was thinking that maybe he just, I don't know, wanted to talk about it, and or maybe he wanted to get more views, or I couldn't understand. So I just started making responses. And then it went on back and forth like that for a while, where we was just sitting around making response videos and shit. And I was like, I'm getting tired of this. Like, cause really it seems like where are we going with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck are we going? And so as of recently, I'm so used to what he does that it no longer, it's almost like I'm numb to it. You know, I've grown accustomed to Jap behaving in a way that is immature, and he's belligerent and loud, and just a Chicago street nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm just so used to it now that when he does it, there's no more shock in me. There's no more, I'm just expecting him to be a fuck up. You see what I'm saying? And I hate looking at a man like that. Any man, I hate it. I hate that I feel like that. Like I'm just expecting him to do something fucked up. So I'm not surprised when I see someone send me another screenshot of Minister Jap saying fucked up things about me. I'm not surprised. That doesn't surprise me. So I'm just neutral to it now. So for a long time he denied that it was me that put him on. And he still does it. He doesn't tell everybody, oh, it was Soncerae. Soncerae is the reason why I became who I am to begin with. Soncerae gave me my voice. Jap's not gonna say that. He's not gonna tell people he was struggling with his channel and then he ran into Soncerae and Soncerae put him on. He's not gonna say that. He's not gonna say that. He's just gonna tell this story of I'm a ho Saray, ho for Winfrey. These are names that he called me. Tranny Danny. All of these negative things that he said and did to a person who genuinely reached out to him to help him. This is what he did. Bite the hand that fed him. That's what he did. So he's not going to ever be man enough to say, yeah, it was Soncerae who believed in me when nobody else was fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to say that. So for years inside of these YouTube streets, when people talk about me, they only repeat the stuff this loudmouth say. They don't hear me when I say, oh, well, Jap was into me like that, and when I rejected him and I wanted to fall back is when shit got ugly. People don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear some other shit. They want to hear me get roasted and drugged because I'm black, I'm female, I'm a single mother. They don't want to hear the story of how I ended up being a single mother to begin with. How Jap had a hand in that. They don't want to talk about that. They just want to pin me as like this bad person. That's what people just do. And so I got used to it over the years and expecting, people in these YouTube streets to do that because it's some low energy shit. So now that all of these women are coming out of the woodwork expressing how they feel and what they think about Jap and what he's doing, I'm seeing other people still connect us with each other. So some chick named Lexi, all right, decided that she wanted to post a clip of Jap rapping. Remember, Jap used to be a rapper. A lot of people don't know that. Jap used to be a rapper named Jap City. That's what he used to call himself. Jap City. Okay? He used to rap. And it was gangster rap. It wasn't like no, hip hop, LL Cool J type of shit. It was some gangster shit. Because he was a street nigga. He was part of rap culture. The same rap culture that he claims poisons the minds of single mothers, and that's why single mothers go after the type of low energy niggas that they do. He's the low energy nigga. Now, if he was to evolve into something else, like maybe a gentleman or something like that, with some sense, and he started carrying himself in a better way, then I could possibly look at him differently than how I've been looking at him. But he still behaves the same way he did 4 years ago. There's no evolution there. And that's what I'm waiting to see. The change in the dude. Like how he expresses himself. See, when he was young, he did little boy shit. Little boy shit is shit that was 4 years ago. Now it's like it's 4 years have gone by and he's still on some little boy shit. Like, you're not going to evolve and grow up a little bit? Not a little bit. You're not going to grow up and be man enough to apologize to me? You're not going to talk about how you was out of line at all? You're not going to apologize to me for screwing up my relationship? Something you didn't even have to do to me? You're not going to apologize for that. You're not going to fix that. You're not grown enough. You didn't grow up some more yet? What, I got to wait 5 more years for you to grow some balls? Really? Like, this is what I think every time I see him. So, chick named Lexi decides she wants to make this video and post, clip of Jap, and she puts in the comment section me and Jap's backstory. Now, this is when I almost had a little respect for her because I was like, oh shit, she got me and Jap shit correct. Like, it's rare that people tell me and Minister Jap's story accurate. This chick got this shit accurate. So I'm like, uh-oh, journalistic integrity in these YouTube streets. I'm like, oh shit, right? But then I start looking at the comment section. Now, this is when shit get fucked up with me in the YouTube streets. And this is why I don't like the YouTube streets. Because inside of the YouTube streets, it's always got to be something ugly attached to the shit. So I'm seeing all of the comments and all of the things that this Lexi Poo person is saying negatively about me and him. And I'm thinking to myself, right when I thought she was a damn reputable source because she had an accurate, like, she had done her research. She had a clip of Minister Jap rapping up there. She had the backstory of me and Jap up there that was actually accurate. But what killed it was the negativity that's on top of it. The insults that people have to spew in order to feel like their messages is valid is what gets me about these YouTube streets. That's the shit I don't like about it. Because a lot of that shit is unnecessary. Like, if you want to spread some knowledge about some shit that actually occurred, that's what's up. But then you got to add an insult on top of it, just so you can get some views and some laughs and some acceptance from some people. So then she was commenting and she said, basically that Jap was desperate for being interested in me. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Let me see if I got this right. I'm a smart woman. I'm a nice woman. I'm a funny woman. I'm beautiful as hell. I got all these things going for me, all these accomplishments, all of this good shit. And you mean to tell me it's desperate for a man to want those good traits in a woman? See, can't nobody tell me. I don't give a fuck if you on YouTube Street, Elm Street, Martin Luther King Drive. I don't care which highway you're on, byway you're on. I know who I am. I know what I've accomplished. So it's desperate for Minister Jap to look in the direction of a woman who is college educated, who had success on a platform he wanted to have success on, that was attractive, funny, accepted him for who he was, and then helped him become better. And that makes him desperate for being attracted to her? Stop. Stop. See, when people hurt, like when people are hurt or they're angry, they tell you the negative things about a person. They don't mention the positive things about a person. In order to support their narrative, they have to say something negative in order to validify what they're saying. So when Jack opens his mouth to discuss me, instead of him saying, she hurt my feelings when she stopped talking to me and left it at that, he decides to justify why he's angry by coming up with any negative thing he could find to support what he's saying. That's what people do. That's what people do. And we've seen it over and over and over and over. Yet, we sit here and try to act like when somebody's saying something negative about somebody else, oh, it must be accurate. It just got to be true. Because, it sounds like some quote unquote real shit. No, it's just a person upset. They feelings hurt, angry, ego bruised. So they're going to say whatever negative thing they need to say in order to validify it. The treatment. He was dragging me to filth. You know why? Because I hurt his feelings. It doesn't have anything to do with all of the things he tries to make it seem like. So, for me, I always did the best that I could to handle it like a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, handle it the best way I could. At first it was, all right, I'm going to make response videos. Then it was like, all right, I'm going to ignore him. Okay? All right? Then I'm going to have to go to the police. Then I went to the police. Then they was like, file a lawsuit against him. File a civil lawsuit against him. And I was like, why does it have to be? Why did it have to get to this point where I got to file a civil suit against him and a protective order against him? Just a guy I saw on YouTube years ago and decided to do a collaboration. How did it get to this point where I gotta file a protective order and file a civil lawsuit against him? Like, in what world does that even... I just don't understand it. I just don't get how things could escalate to this point, even though I've spoke to him. Like, here's the thing also, in these 4 years that me and Jap have had our issue, this man and I have spoke privately more than once, and he promised me so many times that he was going to stop talking about me. He promised me so many times and never kept his word every single time. But then, if I was to get on social media and say, me and Jap smoothed all our situation, because I got a video up right now. It's still on my channel where I'm talking about how me and him had a conversation and smoothed out our situation and how happy I was about that. I have a video up. It's still there. But what he do right after that? What he do? Y'all know what he did? Went right on back to dragging me and saying all this negative shit about me, like we didn't sit down and have the conversation we needed to have in order to smooth out the beef. My problem with YouTube streets is that people want drama. They want beef. They don't want unity. They don't want to smooth anything out. And he a part of these streets. And it's sad to me that it's a community of people out there that's like that. It's just odd to me that in order for them to feel good, they have to roast someone. They have to drag someone and have these trauma bonds, these drama bonds, basically, where they sit down and gossip about other people. And that's the shit that I don't like about the YouTube streets. That's why I stay away from so many people. That's why so many people blocked. That's why I don't go on nobody panel. Do you know how many times I've been invited to a panel in these YouTube streets over and over and over and over? And I just be like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Over and over and over again. Because I already know that there's malicious intent behind come on my show, do an interview with me, join the panel. Something negative is going to come out of it, not productive, not some type of unity or something that could help our community, not nothing positive. So I don't do it. And people like, oh, everybody hates Soncerae. Have you ever just sat down and asked yourself, why? Think about this. What possibly could I have done to a whole bunch of strangers I have never met that are online depicting themselves as my victim to get them to hate me? What have I done? What have I done? It's imaginary. It's not real. It's shit that people in these YouTube streets do to get views and laughs and ways to impress each other. See, what I noticed about trolls, right? Because at first I don't think I understood this first. But the way trolls are and the way people in these YouTube streets are is they're trying to impress each other. They're trying to get a pat on the back from each other. And whoever insults someone the worst, or whoever has the slickest comment, is the one who gets the pat on the back. And once I figured that out, that was the only reason why these people was doing this shit, it started to look different to me. I stopped taking everything so fucking personal. And I realized that a lot of the reasons why my material was getting thumbs down, and people was falsely my shit, and people was just being malicious and cruel to me, was because Jap was telling them to. Imagine what that was doing to my heart and my mind. Like, imagine what that was doing to my heart and my mind. What that was doing to me psychologically, to know that an African American man that I reached out to purposely help, purposely put my energy into, purposely put my money into, so I could uplift him and make him better than what he was now using the audience I gave him to trash me because of my race, gender, economic status, sexuality, anything fine. Skin tone, hair texture, weight, whatever he could find to make fun of me. Somebody that I cared enough for to try to help did this. And not only was it just him, it was like now I had hundreds of other men also following behind him. Now, if it was somebody like Tommy, because Tommy had already had his success, he and I never talked about dating. He always had this disdain for women, never had any type of interaction with each other outside of YouTube. But here me and Jap was sitting down talking about building something, talking about legitimately working together to create something that could have helped us both. You know, like, I really was taking it serious. And when you dedicate your time and energy and money into someone, and then they turn their back on you the way Jap did me, all because I expressed my feelings about him respecting women. Do you know what that did to me psychologically? I was really fucked up about that because I couldn't understand how somebody, like, what I didn't get really was how he didn't have a heart like mine. Like, our hearts didn't match. We probably matched in other areas, but our hearts didn't match. And I had to accept the fact that not everybody heart like mine. So no matter how kind I was, how nice I was, how genuinely in I was, that didn't mean he was going to give me that back in return. And I could not understand. This is when I started realizing that that some people were just bad. Like, some people, regardless of how good I was to them, were going to treat me bad regardless. Some people just weren't going to respect what I did for them. Some people just weren't going to appreciate me. I knew that it could be like that inside of relationships, but I never understood that it could also be like that in a business relationship or a professional relationship. I didn't even understand that. I didn't know, because I thought life was as simple as treat someone how you want to be treated, right? And they'll be good to you. That's what I thought. I thought if I was good to people, they were always going to be good to me. As long as I showed them that I care for them, encouraged them to be better, shit like that, they were going to love me in return. Or at least give me that same respect. So dealing with Jap, I start to realize that regardless to how nice I was, regardless to how many private conversations we had to smooth some shit out, regardless to how many times I turned the cheek or ignored him or didn't file a civil lawsuit against him, no matter what I did to prove that the type of person that he has tried to depict me to be to everyone else is not me, it it wouldn't matter at the end of the day. It wouldn't matter because the truth about life and the truth about experiences and the truth about people is that sometimes a situation is not going to be fair. Sometimes you're not going to get the results that you want. Sometimes you trust the wrong people. Sometimes people so hurt they don't know how to cope with what they heard about. And that's things you got to accept sometimes, and it is what it is. I had to accept that a piece of my audience was taken from me by somebody I tried to help. Because remember, y'all, my content was for men. I was giving men relationship advice. So what Jap did was run around and tell men that I didn't like men, that I had an issue with men, when that wasn't even it. All my content is still up there. You can go look at my old content. Old content is still supportive of men all over it. I was always supportive of men. And then Jap came along and suddenly I got 50% of the men that was in my audience turning against me because Jap telling them lies about me. Somebody that I tried to help. And it just taught me a lesson about people. Like, people will walk over you. People will step on you. People will pull you down like some crabs in a barrel type shit just to do better than you, be better than you, look better than you. People want other people to be on their side and validate them and shit. This is what I learned dealing with just Jap. Because I'm trying to tell you, this little 4 years is a long ass fucking time for me to be dealing with a nigga that I saw on YouTube just to do a collab with. 4 years is a long time to be stalked and harassed by the same guy for being a female, black, a single mother, comfortable with my sexuality. Dealing with somebody every day, going to the police station talking about the same nigga over and over again. People asking me questions about the same nigga over and over again. Somebody I never even met in person. People sending me screenshots of this fool talking about me in somebody chat. It just was like, oh my God, every day. Really? 4 years? Come on, man. No man is going to talk about a woman for 4 years that he ain't give a shit about. I hurt that nigga feelings, y'all. For real. That's the only way a man would do this for this long. So what I've been sitting here waiting for Jap to do online while I'm sitting here minding my business, creating my content, not saying anything, trying not to say anything hurtful about him, trying to, just chill and relax. What I've been waiting for this man to do is just tell the truth. When is he going to grow up and be like, you know what? All this shit I've been doing with Soncerae, it's been wrong. I lied about her. I ain't tell the truth. I was out of line. And I want to apologize to her. When is that ever going to happen? Never, right? Life is. Life not fair in that way. Sometimes you're going to go through some shit with people and they ain't never going to man up. They never going to own it. This goes for women too. It's women out there that ain't never going to own they shit. They going to do shit to you and never own it. And I literally had to do whatever I had to do in order to forgive Jap. Like, I had to forgive him without him doing anything for me to forgive. Because I would have stayed upset with him and took that shit with me for the rest of my life. Like, he literally broke up me and my son's father. Do you guys know how serious that is to be fucking with somebody real life? This man was literally like talking to my son's father, trying to convince my son's father to not fuck with me. Really? Why would you go to that extreme to hurt someone who helped you? You understand what I'm saying? What could think about yourself? Like you listening to the sound of my voice. Think about you, right? What would make you hurt somebody who helped you? Wouldn't they have had to have done something to you, hurt you, right? What would possess you to hurt somebody instead of letting them go? Because we all been hurt. Like, we all been hurt by somebody, right? And if somebody hurt our feelings or somebody made us angry, usually we just avoid them altogether, stop talking to them or about them, and just move on because we angry with them. We don't like them. Our feelings are hurt. So what would possess you to, if you angry with somebody or hurt by somebody, to stalk them for 4 years? What would make you want to do something like that? Think about that. What would make you want to do that? I know for me, I can't fathom it in my mind. The only logical explanation behind the shit with me and Jack is emotions. Emotions are the only things that can explain something this irrational and illogical. It's the only thing, because emotions will have you doing some fucked up shit. It'll have you doing something that you never in real life. You know, emotions will have you out here tripping, doing things you would have never done. Y'all don't even understand how stabbed in the back I was. You understand? By this man. He stabbed me in the back. You heard me? And tried to dig in. It has been digging in and digging in and digging in for years. And I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Why would you do that to somebody who genuinely wanted us for you? I just, there's nothing logical about that. I'll never be able to understand it. And when I see somebody like this Lexi Pooh person who had an accurate statement as far as what happened between me and Jap, the information she had was accurate. I was like, whoa, I only seen one other person have an accurate history of me and Jap. No, two other people. Rude. He had an accurate history. And Egypt Ann. And those are two people that a lot of people don't even know. Who do content on YouTube. So, man, man. My first part of being on YouTube was hard because I had to deal with Tommy. But Jap has by far made it even harder. And I have tried to deal with this shit with as much class as I could find, but it's been difficult. Not because I lack class, but because of the situation being so like, ugh. You understand? Like, it's been just so too much that I'm like, how could a dude that ain't never met me in person want to affect my life so negatively? A dude I ain't never met in person. And that lets you know that the internet can be strong. The internet, man, it's some powerful shit, man. And a lot of people underestimate it. Like I used to sit around on my live streams and I used to tell my audience not to drink the poison. Because what you consume every day manifests into your life. And if you're constantly seeing negative shit about yourself or seeing negative shit about other people, it's going to manifest in your life. So that's one of the things that when I was going through counseling, that they told me to stop doing. Because when you psychologically, when you're verbally abused, when you're constantly hearing someone speak about you or to you in the way that Jap has spoken to me or about me, it fucks you up psychologically. So the first thing I had to do to get through counseling is to stop listening to him. Like don't listen to him. Don't read any of his comments. Don't. And it was not just him. It was a lot of people. So my counselor was like, don't read any of it. Don't listen to it. Don't Google yourself. Don't search yourself. Nothing. You gotta just let that stuff be. Cause it don't have nothing to do with you. It has to do with them people and what they going through. Let them cope with whatever it is that they coping with. I'm like, well, why do they have to use me as their coping mechanism? That's unimportant, said my counselor. That's unimportant. What's important is you and your mental health. So if you're going to stay online doing your YouTube videos and your blogs and whatever it else that you're doing, you have to ignore that shit because it's going to fuck up your head. Basically is what the counselor was saying to me. So when it became too much for me, because I think earlier this year something happened. I don't remember what it was. It was before Priestess Adonia went on to Tommy's channel. Something happened. So I don't know what it was that Jab did. For some reason, I can't think about it. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I think I saw something he said, and it set me off again. Because for a long time, he couldn't set me off because I was kind of like neutral. But I seen him say something in somebody's chat that was a flat out lie. And it upset me. And I pulled away from the internet for like a month. I didn't say shit for a month. I didn't post anything on YouTube. I took down my Facebook page. And it didn't seem like a month because it went by so quickly, but it was like literally a month. I didn't say anything. And so when I pull away from the internet, like, of course, I lose the momentum. Like, because what people love about me, right, is the fact that I post pictures and video all the time. So if I'm not posting any pictures and I'm not posting any videos, my the algorithm on like my social media platforms just pulls me out of, putting me on everybody's timeline and shit like that. Because like I said, it's an algorithm. So if I'm not posting shit and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, it's going to deplete my audience. It's going to, they're not going to show people my content if I'm only posting shit once every like 2 months and shit. Anyway, so I said to my mother, like, at the end of the day, right, is this stuff that happened with Minister Jap enough for you to quit? Quit what you doing? Do you want to quit? Simply because you're trying to avoid him and the mess that he's made online. And I said, no. But I had to think about it because I sure was like trying to protect my son and keep my sanity because my mental health is way more important and my son is way more important. And my mother was like, yo, you don't want to give up on the things you enjoy and what you're trying to do with your life. If you got goals and aspirations, You can't give up on this stuff because later on you're going to regret the fact that you gave up. Don't give up on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let other people make you give up on yourself. And so I just was like, all right, I'm going to take it one step at a time. I'm going to post. I don't know what I want to post about because the desire to post on YouTube is gone because Jack took it from me. He literally, like, and this is some real shit I'm telling y'all because I don't think I ever said this. Jap is the reason why I hated being on YouTube. He made my experience on YouTube be something I hated. I didn't want to deal with it. Something I used to love to do, Jap had took the excitement away from it. It's like he destroyed any type of happiness that I was getting from posting my content because my content wasn't created to insult anybody. Because remember, my content initially was me just doing relationship videos and metaphysics and, positive videos. I mean, I've always done positive content, but for the most part, I was doing more relationship advice stuff for men. And somehow my channel had turned into like this place where I was consistently doing response videos. And I was like, I'm so tired of doing that shit. I said, I want something different from my channel. So when I decided to finally just do single mom life videos, right, where I was like, you know what? Fuck everything else that I was trying to do because I was just going to do positive stuff and that's it. I was going to do relationship stuff, but it was going to be positive stuff about relationships, right? Corny shit, right? Which I'm okay with corny because corny is mainstream and it gets me my advertising dollars. You know what I'm saying? I'll do corny all day. I'm a businesswoman, you know. So anyway, I was like, all right, I'm going to do vlogs with me and my son and my daughter. And I'm going to switch it over to making it part a family kind of channel, somewhat. And the other part, I'm still going to deal with issues as far as co parenting, family law, because that's what I'm going through in my life. So it's easier to talk about with me going through it. And so I made the transition to single mom life. I also had to give up the making response videos, and I also had to stop caring that all of these lies was being spread about me by this man. And I noticed the tactics, the manipulative tactics that was being used in order to spread just false information about me. I started noticing a pattern. And it was unfortunate to me because see, my issue is if somebody is saying something about me that's accurate, it doesn't bother me because it's like, oh, yeah, that's accurate about me because I've said that story. If someone has an opinion about something about me that's accurate, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, call me what you want. Who gives a fuck, right? But the thing I hated more than anything was people lying. And then they would say I would lie. Like, for example, and this is a good example, but this is what trolls do when it comes to me all the time. So I said I worked at NASA, right? I said I worked at NASA when I was in my early 20s. So a troll got on the social media and told people that I said I was a computer engineer at NASA. Like, Soncerae said she's a computer engineer at NASA. What's she going to lie about next? When I never said that. All I said was I work at NASA. So what happens is every time I say something about my personal life, I could say I drive a pink car. Like I could get on YouTube right now and make a video about how I drive a pink car. And a troll will take the fact that I drive a pink car and they'll say, Soncerae is driving Pinky's car from Friday. She said that's what she driving. That bitch be lying. It be shit like that. Like, for example, people going around with this address, right? It's more than one. I keep seeing 3 addresses that people have, and they keep saying that's where I live. One of them is my mother's address. Another one is, I don't know who address it is. I don't even think I know the third address. But someone came into my chat, posted that address, and said, bitch, you lying about owning this house. I said, I never said I own that house. I said I don't live there. But for some reason, y'all keep like, I don't know, like creating whatever. Just, I don't know, just to ruin my reputation and to take my happiness from me. Energy vampires all day, every day. That's what I'm consistently dealing with. So anyway, the YouTube streets to me are all poison. And no matter what I say, someone's going to turn it into something that it isn't, especially Jep. And I had to just get over getting an apology from him. I had to get over it. I had to stop expecting him to grow up and tell the truth. I had to stop. It wasn't going to happen. It's never going to happen. And I don't care how many times I tell the truth about the story of me and Jap and how he purposely did what he could to get me and my son's father to break up. No matter how many times I tell that story, it does not matter. Because people want to see me as a bad person. And when people want to see you that way, Jap could get on a public platform right now and say, you know what? I was digging on Soncerae like shit. She rejected me. It hurt my feelings. I was out of line. I did some real fucked up shit to her for 4 years for no reason. And now I just want to make amends and clear the slate because, I'm just a bigger person now. I'm not the person that I used to be. That nigga could make a video like that right now. And guess what? People still gonna find a way to fuck with me and say something negative about me, spread some negative information about me. Because other people, when they going through shit, they find ways to cope with it. And a lot of times their coping mechanism hurts somebody else. Because they don't have healthy ways to get what they going through. So I just finally just was like, I gotta let it go. They never gonna happen. I just let it go. Just let it go. So I ain't really on these YouTube streets like that. I'm out the YouTube streets. Of course, I'm gonna still do my videos, you know. But I just wanted people to know where I came from with this Minister Jap shit, because I'm seeing people like match us together. Like I'm looking at other videos and I see people talking about me and him together as if it's like it goes hand in hand. And I think it's because he spent so much time making me the poster child for his single mother nefarious message and shit. People just automatically think I'm the one he's talking about. I mean, he just made some videos about 3 other single mothers right now that don't have that. Oh no, 2 other single mothers. I think he might talk about. He was talking about Olivia. He talked about Olivia. He talked about my Jazzy life. He talked about Jazzy, and I think he might talk about Chrissy later. So He just going after single mothers. That's just what he's doing. But just be clear, Jap had no problem with dating single mothers. He didn't. He had no issue with single mothers. You know, when I started talking to him, me being a single mom was not an issue for him. So he decided to up the ante on speaking negatively about single mothers because he couldn't get the single mother that he wanted. Me. I was the single mother that rejected him, and before that he could get whatever type of woman he wanted. He classified himself as the ladies man, and he didn't get rejected often. And here I was rejecting him. D Witty, it isn't up to my therapist to diagnose someone else. My therapist wasn't in my life, or my counselor wasn't in my life diagnosing Minister Jap. So calling Minister Jap a narcissist stalker wasn't what she was concerned about. I had more than one. I had a male one too. That was the least of their concerns. What they was trying to do was to make sure I was okay and how I processed what was happening to me. That nigga is a lot of things. Trust me, a lot of negative things, and he is the one that's gonna need a therapist and a counselor. If he hasn't had one already, he definitely needs one because he's dealing with some shit. And I know he's dealing with some shit because it's time. Like I didn't even mention the conversation we had where he called me and he was crying his fucking eyes out. Like he literally called me and was bawling out of control. You understand what I'm saying? Like literally just crying his fucking eyes out, man. He was crying so hard he was wailing. It wasn't like no regular, like, I'm just going to pretend like I'm crying for a girl so she could, do what I. This dude was bawling his fucking eyes out on the phone with me. And I'm sitting there like, what? Like, damn, Jap, like, what is wrong? Bawling his eyes out. And I'm sitting there trying to console him, trying to figure out and make sure he okay. And I'm thinking things cool between us. And not even a week later, he was back on YouTube making fun of me. Like he didn't just call me boo fucking hooing. That's the shit that I've had to deal with Jeff. To where I'm thinking shit cool, and then suddenly we got a problem again out of nowhere. Not because I did shit to him, but because he just felt like making me the butt of his jokes again. And it's amazing to me how somebody I never met could come into my life and do that. You feel me? That shit is crazy. These men are dangerous. Jap is a dangerous person. Don't get it twisted. Don't think because I don't know what you think, but I don't not think he's a dangerous person. I do think he's a dangerous person. Why do you think the police told me to get a protective order? Do you know how difficult it is dealing with Jap right now? Let me tell you what Jap did the other day. This is just the other day. He did this shit. And I was like, this dude is really just, it's always something, I'm telling you. So, remember with his first podcast on his new podcast channel, Say No to Single Mothers podcast, right? That's the name of his podcast. So, his first one was about me. And it had footage in there of my son. And he had pictures of me and shit up. So I filed a copyright complaint because I keep telling people, I don't care that you talk about me. Just please don't post my kids. Don't steal content from my channel. Please. I'm asking you nicely. Like, please stop doing that, because then it creates a whole nother problem. Because then I got to file paperwork and all this shit that I don't want to do. I'm not trying to rip your content off your channel. I'm okay with you expressing your opinion about me. Just please stop using my content, please. Because I worked too hard on it. And when you post me and my kids, that's just out of line. Like, don't post my kids. So he posted my kids up. I'm already pissed about that. And he stole it from Justice's channel, because I got Justice channel, which is Raising Justice, right? So he stole it from my channel, and then he posts pictures of me. So I reported it, of course. And so he files a counter copyright complaint telling YouTube that I'm lying. All right? That I'm lying about it being my content, and the content is his. So when you file a copyright complaint, counter copyright complaint, YouTube is expecting you to go to the court. You got 10 days to go to the court and file a lawsuit against that person. YouTube sends you the information that the user who stole the content has put into a form that YouTube has this person fill out. So I'm looking at the form because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to file some court papers against Jap, since he's trying to pretend he don't know that this footage of me and my son or these pictures of me is mine, since he trying to act like that. I said, I don't want to take him to court. I don't want to do none of this shit. But you know what? Fuck it. So I take down the information. It's supposed to be Jap. First name, last name, address, all of this stuff, because I got to file a lawsuit against him. So we go to look at the address to try to make sure that the address is correct. Because in order for you to file a lawsuit against somebody, you got to have the accurate information. That's the reason why YouTube put the form there to begin with, so you can put the accurate information there. The nigga Jap done put a fake name, a fake address, and I'm sitting here like, this nigga is like fucking. Now I got to hit up YouTube and say, YouTube, listen, the information that not Jap, but the information that this user has sent me is not accurate information. This is not a legitimate address. This is not a legitimate first and last name. I can't file a lawsuit against a phantom. So you need to tell this user to give me accurate information so I can file the paperwork. And it creates a whole nother problem. And he's not the first troll to do that. The people that he hang out with do that shit to me all the time. The people that he deal with in these YouTube streets do that shit to me all the time. When they make videos about me and they steal content from my channel and I file a copyright complaint, they file a counter copyright complaint and tell YouTube I'm lying about them stealing my content. And this is the thing that we've been doing for 4 years. It's just weird. It's like, oh my God. Give some sob story with tears to see if he can pull you back in. You nice, so yes, you lend the ear. Game goal complete. Let's start up bullshit again. Here's my thing. What D Witty? What does Jap gain? Okay, since you saying it's a game, what does Jap gain out of calling me on the phone crying? What does he gain? That's what I don't understand. If it's a game, you got to win something, right? So if he's calling me and giving me some sob story with some tears to pull me back into where? To lend the ear about what? What's the goal? For somebody to go back and forth with him. Oh, I've been stopped doing that. I stopped going back and forth with dude. I don't know. It's been a while. Because now I no longer, like, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything anymore. I was trying to defend myself. I was like, listen, all this shit that's being said, that's not me. I realized that people wanted to believe that that was me. And as long as people want to believe that, it's nothing that I can say to get people to believe that I'm not that. You feel me? Like, all these people was making up all these lies and Jap the ringleader of the shit. And I'm trying to explain, like, yo, this is all this nigga. And nobody wants to believe that. They don't want to believe it. So regardless to whether I post proof of receipts, it don't matter. Like just recently, all that time I had been telling people Jap been trying to holler at me. He had tried to holler at me, right? I said it. I kept saying it. Nobody believed me. Then the other day, I post proof of it. And it's still people out here that don't believe that. Even though I post proof. Everything I say, I post proof. And people still sitting up here talking about some, like, that's the shit I'm dealing with. So I had to, listen. I had to let it go, man. I had to let it go. He not going to apologize. He never going to tell the truth, man. He never going to tell the truth. He never is going to man up like that in that way. Because he don't know how. It take too much swallowing your pride to do that. I mean, it take a real man to look at himself, evaluate himself, make the change, and then apologize to somebody that he know he hurt. That he know he purposely did all of this fucked up shit too. That take a lot. It's plenty of men out here that have not done that to women that they know they fucked up. Think about it. It's meant, y'all. If you a man yourself and you listening to this, I know you got at least one person in your life that you done did some really fucked up shit to, and you may apologize even though you know you need to, or you wish you could have, and now that person gone. Every man got that. I think with Jap, he might have more than one person. He done did that too. When me and Jap used to talk, right, before things went the way that they went, he had this one girl mad as shit at him. They had went out to the club, right? And I guess she was feeling him. Okay, so it was him and a group of girls. And one of them was feeling him. So he let me hear her message. Right? This bitch was so mad. She was like, nigga, you left us with the bar tab. Like what he did was he came there with one girl and left there with another. And left the girl that he came with the tab. And the tab had everybody drinks on there, and it was a group of them. It was him and a whole bunch of girls. So the girl he came to the club with, he didn't leave with the club with. He left with another girl, slept with that girl. And now the girl that he went to the club with was pissed. So she called him and was cussing his ass out. She was still at the club, cussing this nigga ass out on his voicemail, and he was letting me hear it. I was like, this nigga is a trip. I was like, this nigga is a fucking trip. I'm like, why that girl so pissed at you? And she was like, you was all pressed for my friend, all up in my friend face. He literally went and fucked this girlfriend. The girl he came to the club with, he left with her friend. I was like, Chap, you tripping, dude. I was like, you straight tripping on me. Like, and I really was just like, well, you gonna play all these girls, but I'm telling you what you ain't about to do is play me. what I'm saying? Like, that shit is not about to happen. Like, you're not about to sit up here and play me. You know? And he was on track. Like, we could have been cool as shit. You know, I would have been cool with him. But he just crazy. He just be doing some crazy shit, man. And I guess it's that Chicago shit, you know? And like I said, the nigga dangerous, man. Because I think about my moderator. I got a moderator named Mark. And Mark live in Chicago with Jack. And Mark has been my friend for a long ass time. Mark has been my friend for 8 years. And of course, Jap don't like Mark because, Mark is Mark. A lot of people don't like that Mark's still cool with me because they want everybody to not like me. Because all of the other moderators that I had that are no longer my moderators on YouTube, they have joined the YouTube streets, basically. And Mark hasn't. Mark is not, like, because Mark knows me. People that were my moderators and now they're no longer my moderators, they didn't know me personally. Mark knows me personally. You understand? So he not going to just walk away from somebody that's his friend that he care about and that he love. He's not going to do that. He don't give a fuck what Minister Jab is saying or any other person online because we have a friendship. And I love him dearly. Okay, Mark is really my friend. And that's what people don't understand. He's not just my moderator, he's my friend. So Mark live in Chicago. Jab live in Chicago. And Mark shares all of the stories of what happened to women in Chicago. And I see that women are getting killed and sexually assaulted and beat and all types of stuff from men, from black men. And Chicago is one of those places where violence is prominent. Jap is a product of his environment. So when he's acting belligerent and violent and he drunk somewhere, I try to factor in his environment. It's still dangerous though. Because when you grow up in that environment or that's part of your makeup, you don't necessarily know how to deal with conflict in a healthy way. I realized that Jap didn't know how to deal with a conflict in a healthy way. And if we were around each other having these type of arguments with each other that we were having online, he could have easily killed me, assaulted me, something like that. Because to me, he seems like the type of man who would put his hands on a woman. And the reason why I think that is because he's verbally abusive. And he doesn't think that verbal abuse is a thing. When in actuality, it is. The truth is, verbal abuse is abuse. Emotional abuse is abuse. Psychological abuse is abuse. So when you mouthing off to somebody and you saying all of these things, dragging them, calling them names, lying about them, manipulating, doing whatever it is that you're doing, is verbal abuse. So because dude feels so comfortable with it, it's just like, I know if he was standing directly in front of me, he would put his hands on me. He just seems like the type of guy who would physically assault a woman. Um, I was raised in Chicago. Please give that behavior to the city, please. Don't give that. No, the truth of the matter is, whether you grew up in Chicago or not, it is a lot of violence in Chicago, especially against women. I've seen it. Like, because Mark shows me, he shows, Mark is big about how men, he don't like to see men treating women poorly. So it's a lot of deaths and a lot of assaults on women in Chicago. So he likes to report that type of stuff and it's a lot of girls missing too. So it's a reality about Chicago. Now it's a piece of, I'm pretty sure each place in the United States has a dangerous part of it. I'm not saying the entire city of Chicago is bad. There's got to be some safe places there because people live there. But for the most part, I could tell by the way Jap act, he been in the street. Just by the way that he just handled himself. He been running in the street. Because a well-mannered gentleman who hasn't been in the streets wouldn't address women the way this man does. Or this boy does. I don't want to say man because to me he doesn't seem full grown. Like he seems, I don't know, just so immature and mentally undeveloped that sometimes it's hard for me to get offended by the shit that he does because he looks like a kid to me. It's almost like I'm like you act like a middle schooler. I sometimes I just can't even get mad at him because it's like he acts so young minded. Hey Mark. Yeah. So with just on Mark's Instagram, I'm seeing him post stories about women who've been like killed in Chicago. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, like, please do not let Jab get anywhere fucking near me. Because one of us is not going to make it. Because I'm telling you, I'm going straight for the jugular with dude. Because he been way too weird. Like, it's dangerous. It's to a point where it's scary. You know what I mean? Like, this shouldn't have went on as long as it did. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. No man should have this much disdain for a woman he ain't never met. And I think maybe, I think the reason why it's my fault is because I gave him so much from the beginning. I gave him so much. And instead, I should have had him earn me nurturing his career and helping him with his life and his channel and what he was doing. I should have had him earn it. But I thought he would just respect me and give me that same like support. And he didn't do it. And that's what it is. It is what it is. That's how I go. Thank you, Mark. We don't do trolls in here. You have something to say something intellectual, baby. And I will be happy to respond. Tell people that all the time. But thank you for removing that message. Yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like a lot of my experience on YouTube was destroyed just by men, just by black men who had like this hatred towards just black women in general, or like some people might have an issue with a certain person and certain type of person and then hate those type of people for the rest of their life. And I just feel like Jap is like that with single mothers. I support blended families. When I talk about my single mom stuff, I support blended families. And Jap comes from a blended family. He has a stepmom and his biological mother. According to him, he grew up with, not his biological mother, he grew up with his biological father and his stepmom. And his biological mother was, promiscuous and out there, and a bad single mom. And I keep telling everybody, when you talking to Jap or you hear Jap talking, ask him to talk about his mother. Ask him to give you an honest assessment of his mom. Because he told me about his mother. We had heart to heart about his mom. So let's see if he tells the truth about his mom. That's what we need to be talking about. His mom. And not trashing everybody else motherhood. You know? I don't know, man. But I just wanted to share that because that was a side of what was going on between me and Jack that I didn't tell anybody. I've never told that in that detail about Jack and how it really affected my life truly and what I had to go through in order to get over what he did. Because what he did took a toll on me. And it's what he destroyed, you know, what he took from me. And I had to forgive him without him apologizing or even realizing what he's done. Because maybe he just don't realize it. But I'm not going to give him an excuse. You know, the truth of the matter is that it was difficult for me. And it was something I had to, like, process and get over. And to this day, you know, I will always get in defense mode if I ever see him. It'll never be, even if he was to apologize, I would never feel comfortable enough to be around him. You know, and honestly, I used to want to just meet up with him and sit down and talk. I remember telling Mark one time that me and him just needed to sit down and talk. I was literally saying that. I was like, yo, I'm about to fly my ass to Chicago just to see Jack. Just so we can sit down and talk. Because I can't take this anymore. I remember saying that shit. I think Mark was like, that's a negative. I'm gonna need for you to not do that. I was like, well, he flew his goofy ass to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fly to fucking Chicago and get finish this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm tired of it. I don't want this to go on anymore. That's what I was saying. To Mark, I don't remember. I think this was last year I said it, or sometime I can't remember. I was like, we need to talk, man. I can't deal with this. I don't know what Jap had done around that time, but it was sometime last year, and I was just trying to fix it, man, because I was like, I can't deal with this like this because I don't even know this dude like that, and I never did nothing to him. I need to understand what the fuck is going on. I was like, yo, I'm about to fly to Chicago right now. And then I was like, nah, let me stay away from this nigga for one of us not making out this bitch alive. Like, that's because I'm convinced that if he and I get in close proximity to each other, it's not going to be cute. It's not going to be pretty. And sometimes, like I said in a previous video before, that in order for me to get over everything that he has done, I used to have to imagine him in my mind in a positive way. I used to have to change my perspective of him in my mind so I could deal with what he was doing, because that was the only way I could get past it. Because if I didn't get past it, my life would have been fucked up, you know? And it's still stuff I got to deal with, but it's not so much of what he's done anymore. Because a lot of it was what he did. So I had to, like, picture him in my mind in a positive, like, I had to think about when I liked him, right? And think about what I liked about him and amplify those things as if he had them in the present and put him in my mind in that way and replace all of the negative stuff that I thought about him with positive shit. That was the only way I got through it. And every time he would do something, I would assign a positive meaning to it in some kind of way. I would be like, and this is crazy to me, but it worked. I was like, I was like, let me just keep in mind that his feelings are hurt. He's going through some things, you know, and he's been through some stuff, and we as people all have been through some stuff. And maybe he doesn't understand right now the severity of what he's doing. I can't get mad at him for not seeing me for who I am, or for seeing me for who I am, but just not wanting to depict me like that because he don't want me with anybody else. I have to be okay with that. Like, I would just literally be talking to myself so I wouldn't be mad at Jap. You know? And that's hard to fucking do. Like, you guys don't even understand. Like, that shit is difficult. That is not an easy thing to do. But every time he did it, did something, because he was always doing shit. And still to this day, like I said, he just did some shit last week. He's always doing something to just irk me. And so I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to assign a positive meaning. I remember when he got his ass whipped. Remember when he got his face punched in and shit, and people had posted it online, and the first time I saw it, I said, that's what the fuck he get. I didn't care whether it just happened a long time ago, happened a decade ago. I didn't care. I was just like, thank God somebody punched this nigga in the face. Because this nigga is tripping. But what I didn't like, which is odd to me, I didn't like that people was making fun of him for it. Which is weird because I liked seeing him get punched in the face. But I didn't like people making fun of him for it. You can go see the video where I spoke about it. I spoke about it. I was like, I don't I don't like that people are making fun of him for being punched in the face. Like, the nigga needed to seriously get his ass whooped, and he didn't even get the ass whooping that he need. All he did was get punched in the face one time. He didn't even get his ass beat like he should have. That would have made me happy. You know what I mean? But I think that I only felt that way because, to me, I felt powerless. That had he been around me, I would have probably been punched him in the face by now. You know what I'm saying? So when I see somebody else do it, I was just like, thank you, like, God. But I think that happened a long time ago. I don't think that that was recent or anything. And a lot of people keep trying to say it ain't him, but fuck that. That whoever that is look like Minister Jap. To me, it is fucking Minister Jap. I don't care what the fuck you talking about. That shit, man. Anyway, so anyway, I hope that with time the community on YouTube gets a lot better. As far as the YouTube streets go, the black sector of YouTube, I really hope it gets better than what it is, because right now is a fucking disgrace. So I hope with time it just gets a lot better. But then again, it's called the YouTube streets, so that means it's on some street shit. So it ain't necessarily the best place to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember the last time somebody said, I like the ghetto, I like the hood, I like being in these streets. Like, if they say anything like that, then they on some other shit. But anyway, so the YouTube streets would be entertaining to me if everybody wasn't like dragging each other so much. If there was more intellectual talk, I would like it. You know what I mean? Like, I like intellectual speaking. I like when people talk positively or logically. I can't stand to hear just people just emotionally, like, just screaming on each other, because that's what was happening in the YouTube streets a lot. People was just screaming at each other on panels and shit, and you're trying to figure out why this person's screaming at that person, and then another person come in and that person's screaming on another person, and you just sitting there and listen to a whole bunch of people scream at each other. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I was like, I can't I can't rock with it. So hopefully these people that's doing content like the Rudes of the world or the Analysis of the world. No, Analysis ain't that bad. I think Analysis does stuff as far as politics and African American issues and stuff like that. But some of these YouTube street channels are like, they're not intellectual enough for me, so it's hard for me to get comfortable with listening to them. So anyway, Maybe one day I won't get a screenshot of Minister Jack talking some shit about me. Like maybe he'll just stop and just move on with his life, and I don't ever have to mention him again, and he don't mention me again, and we just be neutral like that. Hopefully that'll happen, but you never know with him, really. So anyway, it's been a long ass live stream. I might leave it up. I don't know. It depends on um, I don't know. I think about it. I don't know because I be deleting my live streams. Anyway, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being a part of my village. I'm out.